Mastery only comes from mastering every part in the process.
Like, let's say you have an emergency, you want to get some cash as soon as possible. I've heard through wholesaling you could do that. If you were like, let's say you were starting out new and then you need the cash, what strategy would you use uh, before you get really good and this business? What strategy would you use through wholesaling to get a property and then wholesale it to a investor?
I think the quickest way to do anything is to slow down and learn what you're doing. Right? People, I can't tell you how many people I talked to that's been out there trying to wholesale for a year and a half, and they have not gotten a deal done. And it's not because they lack the ambition, it's because they lack the skill set. So what happens is mastery only comes from mastering every part in the process, right? You got to get really good at your marketing. You got to get really good at articulating what you're talking about. You got to get really good at fielding the needs of, said buyer and seller, right? You got to get really good at building your team out with the title companies that you're going to be using, right? You got to get proficient at making sure you don't have encumbrances on title that's going to, cause another bottleneck in the process. It's so many aspects that goes into that process. It ain't just getting something under contract and trying to go hustle and find somebody to sell it to. I mean, you could do that in duress, right? But when you really start winning in life is when you stop making moves out of desperation and out of inspiration. And the only way you're going to get out of that place is to actually take the time to actually learn what you should be learning so that you can be practicing the right stuff, that you can be getting proficient at those things. And then your business, it's the hard, easy aspect, right? You do the hard work up front by learning, right? And then after that, the business becomes easier to you. So what happens is you just keep running around taking this misguided action, wondering why you're not getting the results. Just because you listened to a video and it was like, well, I just did what he did and it ain't work. It's like because he didn't tell you everything he did. He could only give you so much context in an hour-long video, right? And so that would be my recommendation. This question been coming up for a long time. Like, if I want to get started, should I just start wholesaling? It's like, maybe. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know why people had this connotation that wholesaling is the easiest path to real estate investing, because it's not. It may be the least capital intensive, but if you know how to leverage other people's money, then none of it is capital intensive. It costs me just as much to wholesale a property as it do to go buy an apartment building, because I ain't using my capital anyway. So when you think about it from that perspective, if you can invest in this up here, then all the rest of that stuff start taking care of itself. People default into wholesaling thinking this is the easiest way to go. Well, then what happened when you got a deal and you got no buyer's list? What happened when you got a deal and you don't know how to JV with somebody? What happened when you don't understand the nomenclature in the contracts and people taking advantage of you? What happened when you tie this property up and you can't come up with the EMD? What happened when you do come up with the EMD, but then all of a sudden the deal go hard and now you lost the EMD? What happened when you went and raised that money from somebody because you didn't have no money to place the EMD, and then when you lost the EMD, you just lost their money? Now you got a whole nother problem. Now you got to quit the business and you got to change your phone number, start running from people. Like, bro, it's horror story after horror story after. I done seen it all. So there's no quick way to the finish line. The quickest way to success is to learn what you're doing.
I got a two-part question, but can I piggyback on his question?
Sure.
I want to tell him something that I learned. I don't look like I'm old, but I'm almost 63. But I have ran several successful businesses. And one of the things that I discovered is most people come into business with a hustle mindset. You have to move from a hustle mindset to a mastery mindset. And once you do that then you can glean from things like what Brian is saying. Because as long as you stay in hustle mode, you're going to go from one thing to one thing to one thing to one thing. And you have to slow it down, master the steps in that business area, and then scale up. Okay, I hope I'm not offending anybody by saying that, but we're here to learn from each other. So my question is, I'm a veteran. I have about $500,000 in my VA loan I can tap.
Hmm.
Have you ever had someone use that as a vehicle to purchase a property?
Absolutely, absolutely. They we had many vets, I don't know, 3 or 4 years ago. I don't know what was going on. Maybe the military was giving out more money than normal, but we had a lot of vets in the program, and many of them used their VAs. Particularly, they went out and did house hacking, right? So they would buy a multi-unit. I mean, because you're getting 100% finance, it's like, why not? You know, and with the interest rate being as negligible as it is, it's like, why not just go ahead and try to get multiple doors versus just one single family unit. And so I saw many of them leverage them in that way.
Okay. All right.
Yeah,
Yeah, because that's one of my when I want to get into that, that's what I plan to do is to
for sure.
that VA equity that I have sitting there.
Yep. That's a wise move, man. You know, we have to utilize all of the tools that we have accessible to us, and that's certainly a tool. I'm glad you identified it as such.